Once again, fans, welcome to DJ Sokol Arena for today's match between the visiting UConn Huskies and your 6th-ranked Creighton Blue Jays. At this time, please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with the singing of the national anthem. Members of the armed forces and veterans who are present but not in uniform may render the military salute. Singing her rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner is Haley Shemick.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, fans, it's time to meet today's class, beginning with the visiting Huskies. First, the non-starters. Number 1, Isabella Stewie. Number 2, Annie Harley. Number 3, Jess Perry. Number 4, Brenna Lyman. Number 5, Ava Sept. Number 8, Deja Williams. Number 9, Anna Herman. Number 17, Ashley Ballou. Number 18, Anna Tilska. And now the starting lineup for the Huskies. A 5'10" senior from Ankara, Turkey. Number 11, Noah Kulu. 5'11" junior from Denver, New York. Number 12, Emma Workmeister. A 6'1" graduate student from Middletown, New York. Number 13, Taylor Pennell. A 6'2" freshman from Dallas, Texas. Number 14, Lauren Quinn. A 6'2" sophomore from Arlington, Virginia. Number 15, Grace Maria. A 6'3" redshirt sophomore from Sandwich, Illinois. Number 16, Audrey Rome. And your winner of the 5'6" freshman from Lucas, Texas. Number 6, McKenna Rand. The Huskies are coached by Ellen Herman Kimball. She's assisted by Peter Navasinga and Lindsay Floyd.
The Big East volleyball slate is underway, and today for Omaha, the 10-time regular season defending champs, the Creighton Blue Jays, get their title defense going against upset-minded UConn. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the floor here at DJ Sokol Arena on the campus of Creighton University. I'm John Schreiner, joined today by former Blue Jay Kate Elman. Well, Creighton have reached their highest ranking in school history here early in the season. They are number 6 in the country, every bit deserving of that ranking, coming off a big win over both Purdue and Kansas, national powers in the landscape of college volleyball. UConn, meanwhile, started the season 12-0, but they lost on Friday in their Big East opener against Marquette. So they'll be looking for a little bit of payback here coming to Omaha today. So, Kate, for Creighton today, it may be about poise.
It is, and I've been so impressed when I've watched the Jays throughout the year, whether they've been tested by, a top-ranked team or whether they have, kind of taken over a match. They're level-headed. They're even-keel. They're poised throughout each and every match. And so if I was UConn, you want to make the Jays uncomfortable. You want to make sure that you're serving at them aggressively and putting up a big block, again, making it really hard for them to earn each point.
UConn will be certainly looking for that first Big East win and a big upset to improve on their top 50 RPI as we get things going here today. First serve from DJ Sokol Arena is next.
With steady wings, Blue Jays fly. With bright minds and curious hearts, they discover their path and soar to new heights. They uncover new research and explore new horizons. At Creighton University, Blue Jays find their perch side by side and take flight, ready to lead the world around them.
Back with you here in Omaha. UConn and Creighton getting set to go here in game 2 of each Big East slate. Let's get the starting lineups first for the visit. To Marquette. This is a team coming off a disappointing season last year where they finished 3-15 in Big East play. They're looking to get back to what they did in 2022 when they were in the Big East semifinal. And for the home team, the Creighton Blue Jays, we got a powder blue out here at DJ Sokol Arena today. And familiar, if you followed the Jays, this is how they like to start it. Nora Sis, Ava Martin, the ones on the outside will be players to watch. But don't forget about Kendra Waite, as she was honored with ABCA Player of So here we go, number 6 Creighton against the UConn Huskies. All-time record between the two. Creighton leads the series 4-2. 2 straight sweeps in their last 2 meetings for the Blue Jays. First serve sent over by Grace Murray, puts it away.
I've been really impressed with Jaya throughout this season. I think even, the first set that she started, she seemed as if she was not, a starting freshman.
Across the net after the block. Lauren Wynn was rejected on the far side. The big block for Creighton.
Just one of those things. I think that ball hit the net, and it's one of those that I assume, again, I've never been in the front row, never took a whack at a ball before, but one of those that you want back.
Second serve for Maddie Bilanovic, the Penn State transfer. And she gets an ace.
But I will give it to Maddie Bilanovic. She has been a steady Eddie behind that service line for the Jays this year.
Early 3-0 lead for Creighton. This one taken by Workmeister. Chases Cutley all the way back. Workmeister, good swing through contact. She's got the first point for UConn. The kills leader, Emma Workmeister, junior out of Victor, New York.
Working her way through a usually very sturdy Creighton block. So it's a great swing for her.
Isabella Sui, sophomore defensive specialist, comes in to serve. And that is a good one. And it targets Martin this time. Wait from behind the 10-foot line. Dink shot. Ava Martin got it to go.
Really great decision by Ava Martin. It's one of those things that coaches and opposing teams comfortable, let's make them move before they're trying to transition. Ava Martin does a really good job nailing the pass and making a good decision.
Tight set for Cutlew. The block sends it back the other way. Win on the far side gets it.
Getzinger wants that one back. I think she was a little too zealous and she really wanted to put that one away. Just a little mishit. It's also one of those plays at the beginning of the match. Everybody's kind of settling into the game, and I tell you what, And a few sets from now, if they give that same ball to her, I guarantee you it's going to go in front of the 10-foot line.
Ava Ceballero to send it across. Out to Martin again. She goes down line and paints the corner.
Good job by Ava, just mixing up her shots. I've said this prior, but as a freshman, she just wanted to hit the ball as hard as she could, and she took really heavy shots, and I think she struggled a little bit. She's really, really grown as an outside hitter for the Jays.
Number 7 in the Big East in kills. That one came off the shoulder of the libero Brand. Pass.
When she's trying to set her attack. I mean, she's just so good, and she's, again, so decisive when she's doing it.
6-4, Creighton in front here in set number 1. And this is Emma Workmeister, who's number 2 in the NCAA. And
The ability to go on extreme runs.
7-4 Creighton. Olivia Hausman, the freshman, into serve. Slide again, this time Reinhardt tools the block for the point.
Really good job hanging in the air for Reinhardt. I mean, I think that ball was a little bit high for her. She does a good job of hanging in the air.
Cut loose set to the far side, blocked. Pennell again, kept alive. Far side, Sis, huge swing, and puts it down.
Huge swing by Sis. I'll give some well-deserved credit to Kendra Wade on that play as she's sliding across.
Hausman, a little wide, point to UConn. Hausman has taken up a serving role in this team that was formerly occupied by Sky McCune, but has played herself into some time behind the serving line. She's done admirably since stepping into that role. This will be McKenna Brand. She's a freshman out of Lucas, Texas. A lot of new pieces on this UConn roster. Out to the far side, Sis, no chance.
It's one of those things that if you're UConn, you cannot do. You cannot lose sight of Nora Sis. I mean, Nora had the entire court to work with there, especially if you give her a huge hole in the block, or i.e. no block at all. I mean, that's extremely tough as a defender to touch.
Serve for Creighton, chases Cutlew up to the net, passed across. Set to the middle, Reinhardt, got it. Well, Creighton has just dumped set number 1. Number 6 Creighton looking for their second Big East win of the early season. Blue Jays in control here in set number 1. UConn calls timeout to try and stem the
Having a curious Jays day in DJ Sokol Arena. And
certainly looks like Creighton's on their game today. But there's a good shot from Tilska out of the timeout, breaks up the serving run.
I think one thing, I mean, for the remainder of the match, I think that UConn needs to focus on is not giving the Blue Jays free balls. You know, making it as tough as they can on them to keep them out of system. Giving them free balls is almost inevitably saying, hey, here's a point.
After the cut loose serve, it's a back row attack for Martin. Elise Getzinger, they have been simply magnificent on the defensive side.
And you were saying, you know, before broadcast started, how impressed you were with the Creighton block. And I thought when I was there, we were a fantastic blocking team.
Service error for no assist gives one back to UConn. And Grace Maria, who started this match serving, is back behind the line as we've made a full rotation. And she gets an ace right in front of Ava Martin.
UConn definitely showing those spurts of being aggressive behind the service line. I mean, they've already aced the Jays twice.
And they average just over 2 aces per set on the season.
That's a pretty big number.
Eight Creighton.
And I think that right side was a really good move for the Jays and Jaya Johnson, putting her a trained middle on the right side to be able to run a lot of creative plays with her in the front row.
Bilanovic serve, tough take for Workmeister. She'll just have to pass over. Set, Getzinger buries it.
Just one of those things, a free ball. UConn block to actually set up and know where they're going, because the Jays have so much firepower across their net.
Bilanovic, the serve taken by Workmeister.
Behind her back, out of system to Getzinger, and a perfect swing. I mean, Kendra Waite's just too impressive.
And Getzinger's a transfer. It's not like they've played their entire
Right.
careers. By Cutlew, rolled over. Waite was there. Creighton resetting the attack. Ava Martin
Was just hit extremely hard and right into her stomach there.
to UConn. Here comes Sui again. She had an ace earlier on in this one. Creighton setting it up. Slide. Getzinger. Got it to go. Here in the first.
They're doing it, but I mean, I will say, aside from 2 service aces, or getting ace twice, I think the Jays have done a really good job handling first ball contact. And I genuinely think, their match versus Nebraska could have been a different story had they not made so many service errors throughout the entire match.
Brenna Wyman, the junior defensive specialist, in to serve. Huskies looking to get back into this first set. Trailing 7.
I mean, the UConn block's just not prepared, and I think it is because they're waiting too long to see where that ball is set, not really anticipating the play that's going on, creating huge holes that the Jays get to swing away on.
Tough serve from Ava Martin, and it just has to be passed across. Wade didn't get the second ball attack to go, but it's another pass over for UConn. And it's a point to UConn.
UConn got lucky there. It was a rare hitting error for Getzinger. I mean, she swung, beautiful swing down the line, just missed it wide.
Helen Herman Kimball pointing out the strategy to her team. And your first serve, both times she's been up.
Her serve reminds me of Samantha Bricio from USC, and I think she would.
Long point to Creighton.
But, when you're like, Workmeister and Samantha Bricio, I mean, you have so much power behind it. You don't have so much time to react, and it can one wrong spin and it's a shank.
20-11. Hausman's serve. Set from the front. And out of bounds. Point to UConn. 20-12. The libero Brand to serve it.
Doing a good job of keeping that, Workmeister in rotation. I mean, kind of like the Jays and Nora and Ava Martin, using that back row attack as their in system. A good job of, again, mixing up their shots, whether it's a roll shot or a tip, finding those open areas on UConn's side.
All Creighton early on in this one.
DJ Sokol Arena, the site of this Big East volleyball match. Creighton in control 22-12. And it is hard sometimes to find enough superlatives for the run of dominance that Kirsten Bernthal-Booth and the Blue Jays have been on. They've won 41 straight sets at home against Big East opponents. They've been ranked now for 51 straight weeks. 10 straight Big East regular season titles, looking for number 11.
And obviously you attribute it all to Kirsten Bernthal-Booth and her staff, and as well as, you know, those Blue Jay fans that show up and show out for the Jays. I mean, as a former, you know, someone on the court, I mean, there's nothing better than hearing the roar of a crowd like behind you, rallying behind you. And so it's just so impressive what they've been able to build here. And it's great for women's athletics, and it's even better for Creighton volleyball and volleyball in general.
Audrey Rome gets credit for the kill, 22-13. Set to Reinhardt in the middle, kept up by Brand. Creighton will reset the attack. Sis on the far side. Brand another dig, but it's overpassed. Poland gets the kill.
It's just one of those plays that, you know, you see UConn can do a lot of great things with their attack, but they have to keep in system. And one thing they did great on that play was keeping the Jays on their toes, out of system, kind of scrambling.
Set from weight. Jaya Johnson puts an end to that. Big kill from the youngster.
UConn's middle's just having a really tough time, you know, deciding, you know, which hitter of the Jays, you know, they kind of focus on it, and it's leaving these big holes for the Jays to kind of have wide open hits.
Creighton hitting .517 right now. The only thing that they haven't done well is keep the ball on the court from the service line. Couple in the net, couple long.
That's 6 service errors so far for the Jays in this set, when it should be, you know, maybe 3-2 per match. I mean, they're struggling behind the service line.
23-15, Creighton still leads. Near side, John. Workmeister, first time we've really seen her get into one. She's the kills leader. Came in with 183 for UConn.
It's also one of those things as Workmeister, especially when she was in the front row when UConn was starting this match. They were so out of system. It was relative.
Vilanovic to try and finish the first. The set, far side. Long swing from Lauren Wynn, and that's going to do it for the first. Creighton in dominant fashion takes set number 1, 25-16. Creighton almost unbeatable under Kirsten Bernthal-Booth when they take set number 1. And set number 2 coming your way after the break. There's your ABCA top 10 here for the 2024 season. Pittsburgh still undefeated atop the rankings. Nebraska, a team that Creighton took to 5 sets with just 1 loss on the season. And Creighton checking in at number 6, their highest rank
ever in school history. They have been in the top 10 before, but never as high as 6. And watching that first set, I think you can understand why folks around the country are starting to believe that the Blue Jays are in fact one of the best teams in the country.
You betcha. And I sit here beaming with pride to be a former Blue Jay, especially in these times, and for the only 2 losses that the Jays have this season to be from a number 2 and a number 5 ranked team, both matches being extremely close. I mean, could have gone either way, is just so impressive, and it's so exciting for the Creighton program because, you know, even since the year or 2 before I was there, they had their first tournament appearance, and ever since then, we have had a tournament appearance. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, the way that they have grown this program and the way that Kirsten and her team recruit, it only functions when you have a whole cohesive team, you know, working towards one specific goal, and they all agree that we want this one goal. And so to do that with, you know, each and every group that she has is just, it's so impressive. And it's, I'm sitting here and I can't stop smiling because I'm so proud and I'm so happy of the, you know, how she's taken this program to new heights.
You looked at those rankings, teams number 9.
I mean, they are run by, you know, Reinhardt and Sis and Waite and Ava, who have all been in these, you know, high pressure situations. And so they are just so confident when they walk into a match.
Set number 2 underway. UConn first attack. Wynn can't find a home for it. Roll shot, stays on the Creighton side. Waite will set it for Sis. Sis off high hands, kept alive. Set to the middle, stays on the UConn side, passed over. And too long out of the middle by Reinhardt. Point to UConn.
Jay's having a little trouble this match with, you know, overpasses, and those should be free points. I mean, you know, they're kind of setting you up for success there, but 2 mishits, one by Reinhardt and one by Getzinger.
Here's Isabella Sui. Sis with the serve receive. Waite the set. Reinhardt on the slide. Puts it down.
I really enjoy Creighton in this match so far. Really getting their middles involved in their plays. I mean, they've controlled the ball so well and so much that they're able to do that. And our middles for the Jays are just too tough to stop.
Waite serve. The second ball.
So since UConn's setter is in the back row, if that ball is anywhere in the middle of the court and the Jays touch it as well, it's considered a back row attack by their setter.
And a little miscommunication along the near sideline between Kutlu and Wynn. Results in a Creighton point.
Relatively good dig by Brand. I mean, name of the game, keep the ball in the air. I think just a communication error from her teammates.
3 straight points for Creighton.
On the Creighton's shoes. I love their baby blue shoes are kind of in this powder blue theme of the day, and I love a good blue rendition.
All right.
Not just the I'll give that one to my boyfriend. He's a sneakerhead, and in turn, I guess now I'm a sneakerhead. I just think that color's so pretty, let's be honest.
3-3 all tied up. Brenna Wyman to serve it. Waite to set it. Long point to Creighton. And UConn asking for a touch. We may get a challenge here.
Especially if you're talking to your team, a good pull of the card.
Green card challenge. And we do have our down official mic'd today, so we will get an announcement.
The original call is out, no touch. UConn is challenging. There was a touch on the block.
I do like that they have incorporated those down refs saying, hey, this is what we're looking at. So I feel like, you know, a lot of spectators and a lot of, you know, people that are viewing, we don't know what they're looking at specifically.
Well, they're looking for a touch here. Do you see any flex of the finger?
I think I do on that pointer finger. It looks like it does move.
Yep, pretty clearly. This should be an open and shut case. Point to UConn.
And again, there has to be a, without a doubt, this ball has been touched for the call to be overturned. Just looks like it gets Nora Siss's pointer finger.
You see it bent
Yep.
back there.
I think this one will go back to UConn.
So
UConn, they retain their challenge.
Kind of an important point for UConn. I mean, they're now, beating the Jays by 1 point, something that, could sway the energy of the game. Although I kind of expected a little bit bigger reaction because, when you win those points and you're like, no, we were right.
4-3 UConn. Still Wyman, junior out of Louisville. Wait, overhead set. Johnson can't get it across. And it's another point to the Huskies. To her team a little bit.
She's a little fired up. I think she's kind of frustrated with the unforced errors that the Jays are making. I think that set before to Jay was just way too tight to the net. There wasn't really anything she could do with it. Hit the bottom of the net. It's one of those unfortunate things. I remember in high school, I went to jump serve and I completely missed the ball. Like there was no contact at all. And I just kind of, again, those first touches, the first contact is really important for UConn. It's going to keep them in system and be able to distribute their offense.
Workmeister. By hands, and they do it again. Just not allowing Workmeister to get into that serving rhythm.
The Jays defense is so good these years that I don't really touch on it these days, but gives the point when before she jumped, her foot crossed that 10-foot line, making it a back row attack. Big swing by Jaya Johnson. I will give credit to UConn's block, though. They are doing it better.
In the right place on the block here in set number 2.
Totally agree.
7-6 Jays. Far side, blocked. Combination of Jaya Johnson and Elise Getzinger on the far side, scoring for the defense.
I mean, that's a wall. Jaya Johnson and Getzinger, I mean, there's not a whole lot of getting through that block when you have a 4 hands pressing over in your face.
6-3 and 6-4. Kutlu unable to do much with it. It was far too wide for Tilska. And now Creighton lead 9-6.
It's going to be really tough to beat a Creighton team that's lowest hitting percentage is .375 across their board.
Tilska blocked again. Stays on the UConn side. They'll go back to Tilska. That's a good cut shot. She got that one to go.
Really good decision by Kutlu. Keeping that set inside.
Hanna Tilska, junior from Poland. Środa Wielkopolska is a village in west central Poland near Poznan. There's your geography lesson for the day.
Well, I do know where Poland is. My boyfriend played professional basketball, and we were in Poland, right outside of Warsaw. Couldn't tell you the name of it, but it was right outside of Warsaw.
At Warsaw would be eastern Poland.
Pretty far then.
They're not exactly super close together, no. 10-7, Creighton in front. Just gets over the net on the serve from Breisinger. Comes back to the Creighton side now. Back row attack, Sis. Like a jet flying through the air, puts it away.
She flies in so powerful with that back row attack. Again, it might as well just be a front row attack. I mean, she lands darn near underneath the net.
Another good serve from Breisinger. See if UConn can pay it off. He cannot. Slide, Getzinger kept alive after block. Martin will have to roll it over. Kutlu the set to the middle. Touched, yes it was, point UConn. Huskies fighting back here in the second set, trailing by 3, 11-8.
You can definitely see a little bit more fight in UConn versus the first set, a little bit more confidence in how they're swinging, how they're receiving the ball.
Wait from the 10-foot line. Another back row attack for Sis. Kutlu the dig. Far side. Tilska wide. She tried that cut shot that she scored with earlier. Sent this one a bit wide, but it's a point to UConn as they called the touch.
Both Ava Martin and Bilanovic just looking disappointed at each other, being like, I thought that was out.
Set from her knees for Martin, puts it away. Gets a friendly shove from Nora Sis for her efforts.
Huge swing again. We talk about how heavy both her and Nora Sis's arm swings are, and taking that ball inside off the block, I mean, that's a tough ball to dig.
12-9 Creighton set number 2. Blue Jays lead it 1-0. Tough dig by Brand. They set it at Tilska on the right side this time.
Being made by the Jays, and sometimes you get that from when, you know, first set winning, you know, relatively handedly, going into the second set you're kind of more relaxed and they're making really uncharacteristic errors.
Wait, sets it for Sis, who came charging forward, and the dig was passed over. Point to Creighton. But Hannah Tilska's come alive for UConn here in set number 2. She's up to 5 kills on 9 swings now. 444, good hitting percentage.
Absolutely. At this point, they're, you know, UConn's outsides are definitely carrying the heavy load here.
Kutlu, the set, near side is blocked, kept alive by Sis, and then Bilanovic. And Creighton free ball over. Chance for UConn to score here. To the middle, blocked and down. Huskies to within 2 at 13-11. Sui checks in to serve. Let's go Jays echoes around DJ Sokol Arena as the home crowd implores their team. Set near side Sis, blocked, she uses it. Out of bounds, point to Creighton.
You could definitely tell Sis was aware of the forehands in her face, and as she's swinging, she's flicking her thumb upwards to the sky, making that go off, you know, that right side blocker's hands and out.
Serve from Waite. Kutlu will set it. Far side. Good swing from Workmeister, but it's wide. And it's a point to Creighton. They have just not gotten Workmeister going. In Big East match number 2 of the season. DJ Sokol Arena on Powder Blue Out Day. Creighton with their second Big East match of this opening weekend in the league slate. They'll be back in action on Tuesday in the big showdown with Marquette, the two teams that have dominated the Big East for the last decade or so. Creighton's been much more successful, especially against Marquette, but Marquette's been the primary challenger.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but for non-conference schedules, I think the Jays in the whole country rank number 5 for their schedule, and Marquette 4.
That's right.
So both teams have been extremely challenged in this, non-conference part of the season.
That's exactly right. 2 of the toughest schedules in the country as both teams trying to build that RPI and build that experience that you need to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely.
Waite serve. Creighton leading 16-11. Out of the timeout. And a good kill on the far side for Workmeister. Point Creighton.
Creighton block just having a really tough time of setting up appropriately for, UConn's outside Workmeister and Tilska.
The up official pointed to Creighton, but the point goes to UConn. And I thought that was a mistake.
Whoopsies.
16-12 is the score. Far side, Johnson. Comes down on the UConn side.
I really like Jaya Johnson's game mostly because she doesn't make any errors. Well, I say that
Super
relatively,
efficient.
but she's very, very efficient for the Jays. I mean, she's a very low error, high velocity swing.
Cut loose set for Pinnell. Kept alive by Waite. Bilanovic, the bump set. Down the line, hard swing for Ava Martin. And the dig goes into the 3rd row.
Huge swing by Ava Martin, and you can tell she knew that she had that line shot. So when she flies in, she obviously turns her entire body down the line, giving her all of that power.
Short serve from Sis, overpassed. Creighton will set the attack to the middle. Reinhardt, off hands, slowed it down. They go to Pinnell. Bilanovic, one-hand dig. Well done. Back to the far side, Johnson, roll shot. UConn setting the attack. Far side, Workmeister. It's blocked. Reinhardt and Johnson with the rejection.
You can definitely tell Jay Johnson proud of herself. She's figured out that block for the outside. She comes in huge for her team. Nowhere to go but down for that ball.
Another timeout for UConn, with Creighton extending the lead here in the second to 19-12. Jays on a run. So Creighton on a 3-point scoring run, leads at 19-12 here in set number 2. And good fight shown by UConn here at the start of this second set, but Creighton doing what they do, just run away a little bit. More assists, back to serve it again. And ace. Grace Maria trying to move the feet and get in front of it, just unable to. And the Blue Jays first to 20.
3rd ace for the Jays of the match.
Sis sends this one short. Cut Luna set, far side, Workmeister. Wide and out, point to Creighton again.
Leaving a gigantic hole for Workmeister. Just hit it a bit wide.
21-12. Brand the dig. Pushed over. Back row, Sis. And Nora Sis again on that back row attack. It is lethal.
It really is, and you can, when, Kendra Waite sets that ball, you're almost like, oh, that's really underset. Like, she's not going to get that, and she just flies in with a massive arm swing.
Another short serve for Sis. They'll set it to Workmeister, tipped across. Waite was there.
Pushed over Reinhardt. She was in the net.
Looks like they gave her a 2 contact, which I thought that was kind of over in CA volleyball. Very specific.
I thought they were going to get her for in the net. Looked like she was real close. Either way, it's a point to UConn at 22-13. And Workmeister to serve. There it is. There's the ace from Workmeister.
It's also one of those things, her serve is a little bit hard to control, but when you get it right in between 2 players, it comes so fast you can't really decide who's taking it.
Already the 36th ace of the season for Workmeister.
It's impressive.
And make it 2 in a row. She just blasts the ball out of that serve.
And again, when you serve it right at a player, really easy reception. But, you know, a foot or 2 to the left or right, I mean, just not enough reaction time.
22-15, Workmeister again, nearly got another. Creighton able to roll this one across. Pancake dig, well done. Comes back to the Creighton side. Wait, overhead set. Johnson off the block, kept up momentarily, but it's a point to Creighton. After back-to-back aces from Workmeister, Creighton finally gets the side out. Makes it 23-15.
That's the first run that Workmeister has been able to go on. I mean, the Jays have made it a really big point to side out her first service.
Hausman to serve. Overpass, Martin. You can't do that against Creighton, and now it's set point here in the second. Crowd rises to its feet. Hausman to serve it out. Cutlew from her knees. Pinnell. Chance for Creighton to end it here. To the middle. Overpass. Deep. Point Blue Jays. That does it for number 2. Creighton take the first 2 from UConn and head to the locker room. 25-15 in the second. It's Blue Jay domination here at home. Back with you here at DJ Sokol Arena. Here are the statistics from the first 2 sets. And there's a line that you don't need to look much further than. The hitting percentages there. Creighton hitting .483 and UConn .053. That pretty much tells the story of how those first 2 have gone.
The entire story. There's not really another stat you have to look at for this match except for that one. Not going to be, winning very many games, hitting an .035. And on Creighton's, if you're hitting above a 400, I mean, you're not losing any matches.
Here's what's up next for the Blue Jays. We mentioned that big match on Tuesday, a rare Tuesday league match against Marquette. That'll be right here. And then a little road trip for the Jays. They go to Butler, to Villanova, and to St. John. St. John's expected to be one of the top teams in their league this season as well. And then back at home mid-October for the match against Xavier. Here are some of the highlights from the first 2 sets. In the first, Creighton won.
Keeping their middles extremely involved. I mean, this second set, I feel like they relied a little bit more on their outsides because there's a little bit more out of system, but especially in the first set, they really pumped the
on in set number 2, but Creighton through the middle part of the set just went on a big scoring run and in their second consecutive Big East match after starting the season 12-0.
You did see a little bit of life in UConn in that second set, especially from their outsides. They're doing, I mean, Tilska hitting, .444. I mean, that's a really good hitting percentage, but volleyball's not a singular person game. You got to have all 5 people.
Yep. And she's only had 9 swings. Creighton will start off with Jaya Johnson putting down a kill. Number 7 for her. Tied for second most with Ava Martin in this match. Nora Sis leading the way with 9. And for Ava Martin, it is now 54 straight matches with at least 5 kills. Vilanovic to serve. Out of the back by Brand. To the middle, blocked, solo block for Getzinger. Cutler was trying to get the quick set to work with her middle roam, and Getzinger was right there.
Well, I'll say I feel like the Jays haven't had as many block kills as they usually do in a match. So, I mean, give that a little bit of credit to UConn as they're not hitting it right into the forehands.
Cutlu, good set. Good dig by Sis. Wait. Far side, Martin hit it right into the block, and it came down on the Creighton side. 2-1. UConn with their first point here in the third.
Not really a ton Ava Martin could have done with that. Just a ball, set right into the forehands.
Isabella Sui comes from Maumee, Ohio. She serves it. Far side. Good swing by Ava Martin. UConn doing everything they can to keep it up. But the velocity on that swing from Ava Martin was tremendous.
UConn are just really having a tough time getting to whichever hitter's actually being set the ball. They're not really anticipating what the Jays are doing much.
Serve from Breisinger. That's an ace. 4th ace of the match for the Blue Jays. UConn actually leading that category with 5. This is a UConn team that has been really good serving, over 2 aces a set. It's the other parts of the game that Creighton has just completely dominated. Waite loses the joust but keeps it alive. Martin, good dig for Brand. Cutlu the set, near side, Workmeister.
Was attempting to exploit the Jays right side block. I mean, I think they're having a really tough time setting up accordingly, not giving them the line, but not giving them too much cross court. And I think it's really working for UConn.
4-2 Creighton in front here in the third. Set from Waite. Goes out to Martin. She uses the hands and scores.
Martin does a really good job of turning her entire body. When she's trying to hit the ball down the line, she does a good job of using her entire body to force.
Overhead, Pinnell Blocked on the way through. Creighton will set the attack. Getzinger just tried to punch it across. And point to UConn. A little question about that call from Kirsten Bernthal Booth.
Looks like maybe Getzinger's foot on that slide attack maybe came all the way through.
Into the net.
So there's some of those unforced errors UConn can't have.
6'3" Creighton. Freshman.
Getzinger a little upset with herself that she should have had that one.
Audrey Rome, the redshirt sophomore middle, checks in. McKenna Brand serves it. Wait. Far side, tipped over by Sis, and scores with the tip. Great awareness.
As their outside hitters are, all the way across the court.
Far side, good swing. Audrey Rome on the slide attack. We have to start talking about the opportunities at the next level. Players like Nora Sis, Elise Getzinger, Kendra Waite, they're all going to have opportunities to play professional volleyball now in the United States, which was not a thing.
So big in Nebraska, everybody rallies around them as well. So it would be really exciting to see maybe one of them play here. But again, huge thing for volleyball, professional in the United States.
I mean, Nora Sis is absolutely first-round draft pick material.
Oh, you top 2, 3.
9-5 Creighton with Sis serving. And she's got another ace. Norris, give it to her again. 11-5 Creighton. And that will prompt the timeout for UConn. Again, a good start to the set for the Huskies, but Creighton just establishing dominance, starting to run away here in the third. They lead it by 6. Here are what the serve. Almost got herself another ace, but it did just stay in on the overpass. Jaya Johnson off the block. Off the chin, but Tilska unable to keep it inside the antenna. It's a point to Creighton.
UConn just struggling to find answers for the Jays offense. I mean,
out of bounds, 12-6. UConn gets the point, breaks up the scoring run. Martin, Waite to the middle, Reinhardt. And it's a lift called on Reinhardt. The set was just a little bit behind her. She had to reach back for it, kept it on the hand a little too long.
Yeah, you can definitely tell when those calls are going to be called. It's almost like they're throwing the ball. Inevitable if that ball's under set.
Set from Waite, tipped over by Reinhardt. Workmeister, and then a second ball attack. Creighton keeps it up, far side, Martin. Down the line, touch on the way through. It was out of bounds, but the touch gives the point to Creighton. 13-7. Blue Jays in front.
Big swing by Ava Martin after, honestly, it looks like a little bit miscommunication between Kendra Waite and Reinhardt. A lot of her balls have been underset today.
Hasn't affected the scoring much.
Not really.
Vilanovic serve. They'll set it for Workmeister. He's got Sui back to serve. UConn trailing by 5, looking for a way back in. Trying to extend this match. Short serve, good one by Sui. Creighton can't get it back across. Score that one an ace.
UConn has got a handful of their aces with short serves. I mean, they've really made the Jays, struggle to move forward. A lot of those are, aces come when you're hitting someone in the chest or something, but they've had their bread and butter in the short serve.
Wait, sets the slide. Getzinger, cross court, got it. You can see the frustration starting to set in on the faces of the Huskies. We trail at 14-9 here in the third. Just sort of a feeling of inevitability now at this point. UConn doing everything they can. Not playing necessarily poorly. Creighton just too good. Another huge block for
I wouldn't be able to ask much more of a team. I mean, that was a massive block from Caster's curse or broadcaster's intuition. And I said earlier that we hadn't blocked much.
Kutlu, far side, win. Block, stays up. I'll go to win again. And she had a solo and couldn't find a home for it. Just Creighton with an 8-point lead here in the third set after taking the first two, 25-16, 25-15. Proving that they are more than deserving of that number 6 ranking here today. Brysinger serve. Kutlu the set. Far side win. Kept up by Kendra.
Too many times a game. I mean, that reaction to cover that ball off the block is
up the broadcast.
Oh. Too many wow plays by Waite. There you go. We're gonna have a segment of each show. Wows of Waite.
Wows by Waite.
Yes, especially when the Jays middles are firing on all cylinders. I mean, again, like UConn's block just cannot anticipate and track where the Jays are setting it and give that a test.
For one.
Now, if they just didn't have the 6 in set 1.
Clean and clinical from Creighton today.
And I can tell you why it was clean by the Jays.
Destiny Nadam Simpson has checked in for Creighton. Hausman serve. Overpassed. Tilska was there to keep it.
Was uncoverable by UConn. I mean, Jays gave them not anywhere to go for Tilska.
Good serve by the freshman Hausman. Another
Hands over the net and, shoulder to shoulder. It's hard to get through.
deep serve that time by Hausman. 22-12 now.
Hear the fans behind us with a little, oh, I think they might have thought that ball.
It's an overpass. The joust won by Waite. Stays on the UConn side. Free ball over. Waite the set. Far side. Simpson. Blocked and out of bounds.
He's another one besides Norris's and Ava Martin put Destiny Simpson in there for a heavy arm swing. She swings tough. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a defender.
Any other team in the Big East, she's a starting outside.
100%. It's just the depth that Creighton
Yep.
has.
23-12. In to serve the freshman Emerson Strain. Good one. Kutlu the set. Back row work. Their team trailing by 10. Nice short serve from Kutlu.
Entire match.
23-14. Another short serve. Nadam Simpson takes that one. Far side. Off hands. That was Ava T. Strake. Another point to UConn. It was a good swing. Creighton. Kutlu and Nadam Simpson unable to get the serve receive right, and it's an ace for Kutlu, her second in this trip to the service line. Don't serve it to me, set it to me.
I was going to say, she looked a little upset about those two aces that she had, and she more than made up for it with those attacks right there.
And now match point for the Blue Jays. Middle, touched over, kept up, overpassed, and put back down by Tilska. So not so fast. UConn not going away quietly. Creighton with a bunch of players that they've put in off the bench here at the end of this match. UConn taking advantage a little bit. Grace Maria to serve it. Sent over, deep. Ziegler, Bilanovic. Pushed the cross, taken by Brand. Kutlu to the far side, win. Creighton with a chance to end it right here. Ava Martin, good dig by Workmeister. They'll send it back to her outside the pin. They had to just touch it over. And a poor set. Creighton with the free ball. To the middle, blocked and kept alive. Another middle set. This one off the net, out of bounds. But they'll say it was touched by Creighton. It's a point to UConn.
I'm not sure where that touch was. Nonetheless, point UConn.
24-18. Bilanovic, set to the middle. That does it. Creighton has now won 44 straight sets against Big East opposition at home. And they win this one 3-0 over UConn. In sweeping fashion, they fell to Marquette on Friday, 3-0. They lose here in Omaha today. To fall to 12-2, 0-2 in Big East play. And they are now 2-2 in road matches this season. The Blue Jays 7-0 on at home. They just turn in performance after performance after performance here at home. And they win this one running away.
How are you?
25-18 in the third. All right, Kate Elman is with Nora Sis.
All right, Nora. In non-con, we just saw the potential of this team. So the next hour-long conference play is to just keep building on that and keep getting in the gym every day and getting better is really exciting.
Do you have a favorite place that you play, like on the road in conference?
Marquette, definitely. But we're also going to, I think just the potential that we have, like I said, and depth. I mean, we're seeing that now, and we saw it in non-conference. We have so much depth on this team. We're getting better in the gym every single day. I mean, our scout side is, and it's as good as any of us, so we're getting better every single day in the gym, and yeah, it's really exciting.
Okay, one last question for you. We'll kick it to, I guess, this game, second conference win. And you do great things of, you know, different matches and things of that nature, but specifically against UConn, what do you guys think you guys took away from this match today?
Yeah, I think our offense was really spread out today. After the second set, Brian said that all of our hitters were within 5 attempts of each other or something. We passed really well, and that allowed our offense to be really...
25-15, 25. 18, dominating victory for the Blue Jays once again here at home. Kate Elman, a victory here today. You might have thought that this is a Creighton team that would have been looking ahead a little bit perhaps to that big showdown with Marquette on Tuesday. Did not appear that they were lacking any focus in this one.
None at all. And I want to also attribute that to Kirsten Bernthal Booth, mostly because she tells her team, like, it's her team took her words, face value, and they did it. They focused on this match specifically, and were, next to perfect.
Next to perfect is good enough, usually, to win a volleyball match, and Creighton certainly did that. Hitting .477 in the match today. When you hit the ball that well and that efficiently, man, you are going to struggle to find a loss anywhere. It's 171 straight victories for the Blue Jays when they hit over 300 in the Kirsten Bernthal Booth era. This team is riding a tremendous high right now and cannot wait for that big showdown with Marquette on Tuesday. It's always fun when those two teams get together.
It's always a great match, when Creighton and Marquette meet, whether it's a road game or a game here. It's always so competitive. It's so fun. There is a sense of, like, big rivalry. They are conference rivals. Year in and year out, it's been kind of Marquette, Creighton sometimes with, that #1 spot. And so, seeing those two teams, finally come together, it's just, you can tell there's not animosity, but they're like, oh, we got to get these guys on both sides of the net. And it is important. And because, Marquette's, another one of the teams in our conference that are, relatively high ranked, has an high RPI. So it's a great win in conference as well.
There are your final statistics. Creighton holds UConn to just 25 kills on the day, holds them under 100 in the hitting percentage. The only thing that I think Creighton will have much to complain about, the serve receive broke down a couple of times. They allowed 8 aces to the Huskies today, but that's a tough serving team. They are one of the tops in the country in aces per set.
Yeah, I said it next to perfect. Mind you, I didn't say perfect. I think there are definitely things that Kirsten and her team are going to go back and say, hey, you know what? These were some unforced errors. We had some miscommunication, some missed blocks when there shouldn't have, some, serve reception errors, and absolutely some service errors in general. And so there's something to take from each match. And I think,
East slate. That's going to do it for our coverage of Big East Volleyball here in Omaha. For our director today, Chris Harbold, our producer, Sebastian Aguilar Mora, my partner, Kate Elman, I'm John Schreiner, saying thank you.